But Michigan was in the third spot, and either Michigan or Ohio State will fall out, and then we'll see what TCU and Oregon do here in the coming weeks. TCU has got less than a 30% chance to win at Texas, according to the prediction models.
I think they've won 4 of their last 5 there. That was right. The Gary Patterson.
Yeah.
That was the Gary Patterson magic trick that he had all this success against the Longhorns.
Always did.
RJ's Vols fall to 5, and then rest of the top 10, Oregon, LSU. LSU is 7-2 after that start. USC, Alabama at number 9, and my Clemson Tigers at number 10, followed by Ole Miss, UCLA, Utah, Penn State. Texas is number 18. Notre Dame is 20, so that's where we stand with the top 4, and you're number 5, Volunteers.
And that's a good spot for them because one of the 2 teams ahead of them is going to lose. I hope it's Michigan, though, because I think if Ohio State loses, they might find a way to still get them in the top 4. But if Michigan loses, we should jump them. I would have a major problem if we got jumped by LSU when it's all said and done, considering we beat LSU by 27 on the road.
What type of realistic chances TCU have to stay in this thing?
Well, the predicting model said they have a 16% chance of staying in. The way the models work, it's Georgia with 91% chance of being in the Final Four.
Did you have Georgia number 1 yesterday in forecasting this?
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I even said, if you're an AP voter and you picked anybody but Georgia number 1, you should lose your vote. Ohio State 2, and then so TCU has a 16% chance, Georgia 91%, Ohio State 85, Tennessee 65, Michigan 62. Clemson's out, but they found a way to keep them in the top 10, and they win out. You're going to have a one-loss Power 5 champ that's going to have a legitimate argument of being in.
We are live on the Fan Cam, Twitch, and YouTube. TroutRec.com text line is wide open throughout the entire show. Thank y'all for being a Tolo. That stands for Turn It On, Leave It On. Sean Sharif, RJ Choppy back together again. We got headlines at 7 a.m. Is there a little conspiracy theory taking place with the Powerball? And how did Election Day go for everybody yesterday, whether you voted or not? The Hump Day edition, including the Stars getting crushed yesterday. The Mavericks are playing at 4 o'clock. What is this, at the Luby's Arena?
Yeah, it is. It's the Luann Platter.
The Luann Platter for tip-off with Mavs. We got Stars. We got Election Day next on The Fan.
Coming up in the next G-Bag Nation. It is a Wednesday with the Cowboys back at practice. Tune in for Krusty's Corner.
snapped against the Winnipeg Jets, who are up to their best start in franchise history. The Jets win 5-1. They score 4 in the second, 3 in a 2-minute and 45-second span. And not used to talking about
a Stars loss.
A Stars loss.
No, not at all. Like they have been a tremendous hockey team, and Pete DeBoer's got it's over a 700 winning percentage to start his Stars career. So it's been a really good start for him.
And every career, this guy gets off to a blazing hot start.
He does, at least in the postseason. I mean, his first year with the Devils, they were like the 7 or 8 seed, and they still wound up going to the Cup Finals against the Kings that year, and they lost that series. But yeah, he's every time he's gotten somewhere new, they have made a nice little postseason run.
Powerball or election?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's start off with election day.
Little loser Beto. Little loser. What a loser. One of the great losers in all of politics. He lost to Lion Ted. Okay. And then he couldn't.
Dude, someone hit Ted Cruz with a Truly can or something the other day.
They did. I know.
Someone
they
was
got arrested.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's assault, battery, one of the two.
Yep.
I think it hit him in his chest, but someone chugged a full hard seltzer at the head of Ted Cruz and ended up dinging him right there in the chest. But yes, Governor Greg Abbott wins for a 3rd term.
Yep, 3rd term. And then little loser Beto loses for the 3rd time in a row. He lost to Sleepy Creepy Joe and that nasty girl Kamala. He lost to Kamala. He lost to all of them. And now he can't even beat Gritty Greg.
Gritty?
Can't even beat Gritty Greg.
Gritty Greg.
What a loser. Get him out. Let him go back to that rat hole in El Paso. Okay, might as well be in California. Might as well be California. So weird. Such weird people out there.
Dude, I could listen to this all day long. I could just have you do the entire show just like this. Did you get out and vote? Did you get your sticker?
I did.
Did you post your sticker
I
online?
didn't post my sticker.
I did not either.
I didn't post a sticker, but I did get out and vote. I absolutely did.
Mine was empty.
So was mine.
Amanda's
Not a single person in there.
Amanda's like, let's drop them off, and then come on, let's go in here. People soliciting in the parking lot, so went in and voted. But what about the youth of America, Peyton Russell? Did you go out and vote?
Of course I did. I did the early voting, I believe, last Tuesday.
Oh.
Walked in. There was maybe 20 people in there. Walked in, scanned my ID, walked out. Saw Troy Hughes as he was walking in. That's where I met him. And
he had to cancel his vote out.
Yeah.
Was he trying to vote for himself?
I think so.
Ryan, ask Ryan. Ryan, did you vote? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Oh, he went thumbs
Look at that.
up.
Look at that.
And then yesterday, the early story is all these machines are broken.
I know. It's 2022. I didn't even
2022, we can't. So, like, for the history of time, now I know it's happened, like, before, obviously. But up until last year, the machines are working much better. And then we can't get 5 Powerball numbers to pop out of a machine in the year 2022.
It's crazy. We can't get the Powerball to work. The voting machines. It's gonna take till Friday to count all the votes.
Right.
Which is just lunatic. They've had
or December I saw for like Georgia and other places.
They were literally giving COVID numbers every 2 minutes on updates on who had COVID, but you can't count votes every 2 years. It's just wild to me. But that is thus the world we live in right now, where. I had a paper ballot. I had to sit there and color in a box.
like a Scantron?
Yes, like I was like it's Broward County in 2000.
Really?
Yeah. And then you had to go feed a machine.
Do you just go by party for like all the other people and issues? Like, are you staying up to date on the railroad conductor?
I vote
times?
for the name that the name that sounds cooler.
Was there one that jumped out on the ballot?
No, there was I have a thing. I vote against all hyphenated last names.
Okay.
I just voted just at the start. Yeah. You can be related to me, but if you hyphenate your last name, I'm done with you. And then I try to vote for all Italians if there's one out there.
Okay.
And if they're not an Italian, if your name ends in a vowel, I'll go with that one. I'll usually vote that way.
You gotta have a system.
You gotta have a system. It's got to be like I like a good system like that. So it's very, very scientific to me.
Any other major storylines, like controversy playing out today? Holdovers, leftovers? Anything else that you've been paying attention to?
From the no, I went to bed and I was like, there was still so much that was outstanding still from last night that I didn't see. So I haven't paid attention to what has transpired. I know the Senate's deadlocked still.
And then what about the Powerball controversy?
So, California, again, screwing everything up. Again. Evidently, California had a problem.
Does anyone get mad, by the way, at your impersonation on the text line? Or does everyone laugh? Anyone get worked up over it? Not even this morning. Just whenever you do it. Have you noticed it?
No, I haven't noticed it. It's an impersonation of a famous person.
Yeah.
I can't do impersonation of everybody. But no. Evidently, the Powerball in California. The Powerball in California.
Speaking of things that are broken.
I know, right? The Powerball was won in California. But also, that's where the controversy happened. So Monday night, there was an issue with the Powerball security. And evidently, according to Darren Ravel, California announced a delay in Powerball for security reasons. A drawing takes place. It's announced there's no winner and the jackpot win increases. And then they somehow draw again. If they don't, I guess they didn't draw again, but they finally did a drawing, and somebody from California wins. I'm sorry, that's a little fishy for me.
You think it's a little sketchy?
That's a little sketch. Like, anyone out there paying it? They're adding votes at 2 a.m. again. That's what they're doing. They're adding votes at 2 a.m. while we're all sleeping.
Very deceptive.
What a crock.
Did you play it?
I did. I got the ticket still. I've hung on to it. I'm hanging on to this ticket just in case I do a redraw.
Oh, I won $4 on mine.
Well,
dang it.
Yes, very well. Mm-hmm. Do you play the lottery?
Not really. I didn't buy a ticket. My parents do every single week, it feels like. They always go and buy a few, but I do not participate.
That's all we need is the Russells. The rich get richer. That's all we need.
All we need.
Well, speaking of real estate, Sean, there's some nice houses in my neighborhood. You know, you get a nice gate at the front.
What area are you in?
Rockwall.
40 minutes for you or 35 driving in?
It took me 29 to get here this morning, but that's driving in the middle of the night, you know?
Yeah, that bridge, though, man. Heard very nasty things.
But you get the view of the water to the left and right.
But one thing happens on that bridge, that thing freezes over, you're done, right? It's all chaos.
Well, you get another route around, you know? You just got to go the long way, but...
What, around the lake?
Yeah, around Forney.
So that's the election day recap. Powerball, I guess I should have held on to my ticket as RJ Choppy is doing. We have, why did I write Philly chicken?
Oh, the rotisserie guy. This clown, he's stealing my bit. All right. So this dude in Philadelphia had eaten a rotisserie chicken, an entire rotisserie chicken.
As you always do.
As I always do. But he has done this for 40 straight days.
40 straight. We'll talk about team.
Oh, my God. All the team. All the protein, all the team. And all the brine and all the sodium. That's like, all right. Those chickens have been giving me stomach issues.
Always get sick.
I always get stomach issues after eating one of these rotisserie chickens. But he invited a packed crowd. A crowd came out to watch him, watch this dude in a white tank chow down on this rotisserie chicken.
Is he a jack dude?
No, I mean, he's in good shape. Okay. He's in good shape, but he's not like, Ronnie Coleman.
Not that guy
here.
who eats the raw meat.
He's not the Liver King. He is not the Liver King.
That's his name?
Yeah, it goes by Liver King. But, so he invited all these people to eat a rotisserie chicken, and he kept showing photos of him eating these chickens every single day, and he started to look like he was getting sick of it. Later on in 26 days, he got this weird look on his face. And on the 40th day, he invited everybody out to watch him eat another full rotisserie chicken. This is a real man. It's a man's man. I support this guy. This guy just shows the resiliency of Philadelphia. That's what he does. After you get beat and you do the first sports town ever to lose 2 championships on the same day.
Yeah, what was the other one was soccer?
MLS and the World Series. And he's like, I got to show the resiliency of this city. And come watch me eat an entire rotisserie chicken.
877-881-1053. They are phenomenal. They're so greasy.
Oh, yeah, they are.
It makes you feel like you're eating something healthy, and then you sit there and look down at your fingers, and you can't grip a doorknob.
No, all the brine. When I pull those things apart, I put on gloves. I put on like those like mechanic, those rubber gloves, like latex, like doctor gloves.
Really?
Rip it apart.
I think that's a video.
Rip it apart.
Think that's a video for 105throughthefan.com. Odell Beckham and Micah are flirting with each other on social media. Jerry makes national news yesterday here on the show. And is Dan Orlovsky leaving TV to go to the sidelines with Jeff Saturday? It's all coming up. Hump Day headlines for the 6 a.m. Club with Sean and RJ next.
MyFitnessStore.com studios. It's Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.
Good morning, Metroplex. Thanks for waking up with us. We got the entire morning family back together again. My thanks to Bobby Belt and Corey Majors for filling in. I'm Sean Sharif, back for the duration of the season alongside RJ Choppy, Peyton, and Ryan on the Fan Cam, Twitch, and YouTube. Thank you for turning it on, leaving it on. Micah Parsons and Odell Beckham flirting with each other on social media. Had a former player hit me up yesterday.
Whoa!
Saying, my Lord, does Odell have to be loving all this attention?
Of course he does.
And Micah tweeted to him, man, OBJ, talk to me. Let's do this S. Reacting to a picture of Odell in a Cowboys uniform, Odell responded, LOL, shoot, you're telling me? You know all the fam on my dad's side down there. I'm just trying to win wherever I go. So that is Micah Parsons out trying to recruit more help to come to America's team. Yesterday, Jerry Jones took this show viral when Choppy and Bobby were asking him about the possibility.
I really like where we are with our receiving corps. We've got, of course, Washington coming back, and that's big. And we've got Gallup, who is just, in my mind, getting better at the level that we would expect him to be, and improving every day. And, of course, Lamb, we think, is everything that we wanted at our number one receiver. I like the way we're pitching the ball, throwing the ball with our tight ends. And I think that's meaningful in this conversation. Because as I see us going forward, that could basically dictate just how aggressive we are in any type of additions that we have here with our receivers. On the other hand, Odell is someone that we have all the appreciation in the world for what he is as a competitor, and know that the Cowboy star on that helmet, when he puts it on, could look pretty good.
That last part is the one that exploded everywhere. Did Jerry Jones just give it away? Is it inevitable? Did Jerry just slip? Peyton, play that last 5 seconds of Jerry. When he puts it on, it could. When? Could. When? JJ Odell.
The Cowboy star on that helmet, when he puts it on, could look pretty good.
What'd you make of his answers yesterday as he answered 3 straight questions about this possibility? And I was surprised. I was sitting in the car driving around going, don't go to the well again. But he was more than comfortable doing so.
Yeah, he was. He wanted to talk about it.
This another sell job?
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I mean, first of all, I don't think they want 2 guys on the team that are coming off ACLs in year 1. That's a tough recipe right there. I mean, you're not going to get 100% from either one of them. But I also think them not doing anything at the trade deadline also signified that this was kind of the route they were going to take. I would prefer this route than the trade and sign somebody because you're giving them multiple assets there. But, this is the other.
This is just going to be sign and sign. See?
Yeah, I would not do this if it was just for this year. I would only sign him to a multi-year deal.
And Odell does not want to sign anywhere to be a mercenary. He does not want to be the Darrelle Revis of receivers. That makes me lean towards not doing it. I think I'm out on this. Now, I'm rooting for it to happen for the excitement, for the storylines, for the intrigue. He's 30 years old. He's coming off of this injury. Let's make a list of pros and cons. All right? Let's write down our list of pros and cons. Pros, excitement, which really shouldn't be the first thing you're talking about with your football team, but we are talking about Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. Next possible pro, big-time plays for the second half of the season. How many can he give you even while limited in coming back? This guy was on his way to being the Super Bowl MVP. Now, he didn't get a lot of scoring in that game, but Odell Beckham was off to the fantastic start before the injury. Mm-hmm. How capable is he of giving you second half excitement? Those, to me, are the two biggest pros. And then, you really have no other questions on your football team. You answer every question. We thought it was going to be offensive line. Everyone now is thinking that it's receiver that's an issue. You address your final weakness. Everyone's in love with the running game. You got your quarterback back healthy, and you got your top 3 to top 5 at the very worst defense. You answer every single question if you go out and address it. The cons, health for the second half of the season. He's 30, and he wants a longer-term deal. He wants this to be his final big contract, and I don't think the Cowboys should do it if he tries to make him sign up long-term.
You don't think the Cowboys should, if he tries to make him sign up? See, that's the only way I would do it.
Okay.
I would not sign him.
He's 30 coming off an ACL. You're usually an ageist.
I know.
We're ageist on this show.
I would not sign him just for this year because he's not going to be good. He's not going to be great this year.
I would love to do it this year, next year, but I think he wants more.
He's going to want 3 or 4 years.
And maybe no one else does it, and that brings him back to you.
Maybe. And that's possible. I don't see this team doing a 3 or 4 year deal with him. It's not in their DNA to do that. But if they do, a 2-year deal with a 3rd year option, that's probably as far as I'd go. But I do think that he still has some left. And as the fan text brings out, Amari's 28, and we won't stop letting him go. And that's true.
Okay,
so
two-year age difference.
2-year age difference, and
that's a big deal.
And off of a second knee injury, which is not a big deal anymore. ACLs are not a big deal anymore. People come back from them like Tommy John, right, all the time. Now there may be some complications here and there, but yeah, I'd go get him. But again, I would not do it just for this year because I don't think you're going to get. Really, I don't think you can plan to get anything from him this year.
You think it's going to happen?
Man, I think Kansas City and Tampa are totally undercover wild cards.
He was flirting with Kansas City. Yeah, that could happen. People were comparing barbecue, Kansas City to Texas, trying to convince him to go over there. Well, why does Kansas City still need him? They went and just got Kadarius Toney.
Well, I guess I would ask, what is Kadarius Toney?
3rd-year receiver.
3rd-year receiver.
Down the field explosiveness.
Yeah. Because you can never have enough. You can never have enough offensive weapons. Never have enough. That's why you go get them. That's why the Cowboys want to get them. They need them.
So those are the different factors. Brian Baldinger from the NFL Network was on with the G-Bag Nation yesterday. What does he think about the possibility of Odell coming to help right now?
I think Odell can help him. I mean, he got hurt Super Bowl Sunday. So what is that, 8 months? I don't know. And he's coming back from another torn ACL. I don't know when he's going to be ready. I know he works hard. He's a really good locker room guy, easy guy to get along with. I think he'd fit in real well, like he did with the Rams. He made the Rams immediately better last year. They just so happened they signed him, 2 days before Robert Woods tore his ACL, so it was perfect, a perfect transition. And you saw, the difference that he made. And he wasn't screaming for the ball when Cooper Kupp was winning the Triple Crown at receiver. He liked his role. And so I think he can make CD Lamb better. I think he can make Dak better. But, you got to know just what the health is and can he practice every day. And I have no doubt he can learn the offense because ultimately you need a guy that can beat man coverage. Eagles are going to play in man coverage. Playoffs, you're going to see a lot of man coverage. You got to be able to beat the press. And Odell has always been able to do that. So I think he could help the Cowboys a tremendous amount.
It's amazing how the narrative changes. Now the last thing we worry about with Odell is being a diva cancer.
Yeah, we don't worry about that anymore.
Good teammate, great in the locker room. Guys love him, right? He became even too big for New York. Cleveland, there was always nonstop drama. Then he goes to the Rams, and now he's this fantastic teammate. And now we're just worried about the health, not Odell Beckham, the star, which, by the way, that's playing into this as well.
Yeah, look,
name.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly honest. And this was brought up with the FanTech several times yesterday, and I 1,000% agree with it. I don't know if Dallas is big enough for him.
Huh? Dallas or the Cowboys?
Dallas.
There's a difference.
Dallas.
The city.
Right. He is a big city, big club, big town guy. We ain't it.
Look at our NBA signings.
All right.
What NBA signings?
There ain't no club here. Okay. He's going to sign with the Rams, with Vegas, with New York. I mean,
Tampa nightlife?
There's nightlife there.
I heard about
a lot. Mons Venus, you go to the strip club, or Miami, like that. Those are the towns. That to me, that's where Odell. Like, now he may sign elsewhere because of options, but those are his preferential cities. I think. Going back to New York is definitely to me in the cards for him.
Drew Pearson was on with. That would be a dumb decision going to play with Daniel Jones. Drew Pearson was on with The Get Right last night. His opinion on getting another wideout here.
You know, I don't think it's so outlandish considering the Cowboys situation at wide receiver, and considering where the Cowboys are in the standings and looking at the rest of their schedule. If they feel that they need to upgrade that position or add some help to that position, then, you know, considering a guy and looking at a guy like Odell Beckham, you know, you need to do that. But, yeah, if Odell's ready to go and, you know, he brings great credentials. He signed with the Rams last year, the 10th game of the regular season, and with 7 touchdowns before the playoffs hit. The regular season finished out. So he's used to stepping into situations like what the Cowboys might bring him into. And so, but the key is he healthy enough to handle all this? That's the key.
You know, there was something Jerry said that has totally gotten lost. I tweeted it yesterday when y'all were interviewing him. Talked about the tight ends. Talked about throwing to the tight ends and how that could factor into this. What do you think he meant by that?
I have no idea.
That was very interesting. Not one person I've heard bring that up.
I don't know what he means. I have
like,
no
are we
idea.
gonna get? Is he talking about getting Schultz more involved so not enough footballs to go around? Could that be it? I continue to say, why are you going to add a fancy kitchen appliance when you get takeout every night? The Cowboys say they want to run the football. That's the formula. Why would you bring in Odell Beckham for that? Why?
I don't know.
But that tight end aspect of that answer, I was trying to make sense of it.
There was a lot of things to try to make sense of in a Jerry interview oftentimes. I didn't get it either. I mean, what was he really talking? What did he mean? Like, what was he talking about with the tight ends?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't.
Like, we're going to get Hendershot and Ferguson more involved?
Or is he saying that this is going to hinder them from signing Dalton Schultz? Because they would, put money and resources in Odell? I don't know.
But Jerry's commenting on it. McCarthy, I'm surprised, didn't shut this down. A very McCarthy-esque answer would have been, that's not my department. Go ask Jerry. Go ask the front office. He said, excuse me, he said, I've always been a huge fan of Odell. I've just heard so many excellent things about him. And I was like, huh? And then Vegas, with the latest odds, the Cowboys are the favorite at plus 250, followed by the Buffalo Bills, the New York Giants, the Packers, Bucks, Chargers, Rams, Chiefs.
I would, I would really keep an eye on Josh Allen's elbow. If he's got a hurt elbow, if he got a UCL, if he's got a Tommy John, he ain't going there. There's no point.
I mean, if Dallas isn't big enough for Odell Beckham.
Well, Buffalo's not big enough for Odell.
Unless Vaughn is like, no, man, this wing spot, you got to check this out.
What Buffalo does is it gives them the chance to win. And so do we, but not nearly the chance that Buffalo has. Although you can make the case they still got to go through Kansas City.
Right. We got an easier path, possibly.
Possibly an easier path to the Super Bowl.
Right.
But if both teams get to the Super Bowl, then the easier path is Buffalo.
Where has the truckwreck.com text line been on this over the past few days? In or out?
Oh, mostly in. Mostly in. And I think it's the right thing to be is mostly in on this. They want him. They want him. They want the Cowboys to go get him. And maybe not at any cost necessary, but they want him to go get him.
Jeff Bezos out. Matthew McConaughey in. as the next owner of the Washington Commanders? And are you going to finally get Dan Orlovsky off of your television screen if he goes and joins Jeff Saturday as head coach of the Colts? And we got media people fighting at different networks. We got NFL Network against ESPN when it comes to this story. Around the rest of the NFL with Sean and RJ next.
Let's get you over to zero. Let's get the carpet clean.
by the personal injury lawyers Frankel and Frankel. There's a reason you need a special license to drive a big truck. So companies that hire drivers and put them in a big truck should be held accountable for what happens when one hurts you. Frankly, you need Frankel and Frankel. Visit truckwreck.com or call them 214-333-3333.
Sean and RJ back together again. Thanks for being a Tolo, y'all. That stands for Turn It On, Leave It On. Ben Simmons to the Mavericks. I don't think I've found one person amongst 8 million people in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex that wants this to actually happen after the rumor came out the other day. We'll get to it at 6:40. The latest with Kyrie ignoring Steve Nash 10 times in a game. Up to 10 different times, and why the Players Association not happy with the rules and regulations that Kyrie has to follow in order to get back on the court for the Nets. But I'm dying to get your take on the Jeff Saturday news.
I mean, I'm more confused at what the hell Jim Irsay is doing in the three weeks prior to this. Benching Matt Ryan and then firing the OC and then firing the head coach in 3 straight weeks. That made little to no sense. Rome ain't built in a day, and you're going to make all these moves. So that didn't make any sense. And here's the thing with the Jeff Saturday. Nobody wants an interim job anyway. Interim jobs don't lead to head coaching jobs. They just don't. Interim jobs are taken. You get it. You take an interim job to lose it at the end of the year. That's why you take an interim coaching job. You don't take it as your future because it's never been your future. Interim jobs are there because the quarterback stinks. The team isn't any good.
Maybe he's going to help out his friend, the owner, the organization. But obviously, the biggest storyline here is zero experience. I was expecting you, RJ Choppy, to come on and say that you love it.
Yeah.
You absolutely love the new school, different approach.
I love the word experience is just a gatekeeper. That's all it is. It's just a gatekeeper to keep young people out of the industries, any industry. Experience,
I disagree.
Give me talent over experience any day of the week. Any day of the week.
If we went and hired a kid that finished number 1 at UNT in their broadcast journalism class and threw him onto this station to just start hosting a show tomorrow, it'd be a train wreck. It'd be a mess.
Initially, sure, it would be. And it
would take a while, some experience to belong and justify that person having this job.
Outside of you and I, who's the best talk show host in sports, in radio history? If Howard Stern came right out of college and came on the radio, he'd be great.
Day one.
Well, maybe not day one.
Right.
Maybe not day one.
I'm just saying there's something to be said for experience.
Yeah, but part of that, learning on the job, I think is far more important than watching somebody else do the job. Personally, that's why I throw the quarterback out there, throw them all out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have some bumps along the way. But if you're great, you're great.
I wonder why this is so much more accepted in Major League Baseball than it is being received right now. Chris Woodward.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't name half the managers in Major League Baseball. They're people with zero experience who are numbers people and not your old experienced vets like Bruce Bochy, right? So in baseball, this has become a lot more common. But with Jeff Saturday, now it's the National Football League, right? So it's much bigger. So that plays a part in this discussion. But I thought of baseball when this story took place and why the crazy difference in reaction when it's been happening there. I guess because we're used to it over there.
Well,
Chris Woodward, Jeff Saturday. I mean, I guess the only difference is, was Woody a bench coach somewhere?
He was on a staff.
Yeah.
He was on a staff. But, Aaron Boone came from the booth. He was in the TV booth.
Like Derek Jeter to go be an executive? That's what this is. It's no different.
Right. There's very little difference there. Baseball's a little bit further along in the analytics, and the analytical front offices have, basically shown that, hey, look, we don't need experience.
Easier to be a baseball manager with no experience versus a football coach, maybe.
Well, but, Danny Cannell was talking about, remember Danny Cannell? He was...
Yeah. Let me take off my headset. That dope.
You know, like Danny. He was talking about how when he was at Florida State.
Well,
Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden sat in the tower during practice and never talked to the players. He would radio down to the coaches what the players were doing wrong. And the position, what he did, he coached the coaches. And the coaches would coach the players. And, I mean, obviously it worked. Obviously it worked for Bobby Bowden. And, you know, there was something to be said that, you know, if you can recognize things and you have good coaches underneath you that can coach the players up, then that's all you need.
I think it's fascinating. It's obviously fascinating. I don't have to think it. It is a fascinating story. And I can see Irsay's thinking, like, Gus Bradley takes over the Colts. Well, what is that really going to get you? Go ahead and try something totally, completely new and different. Jeff Saturday seems to be well-liked by everyone. Now he's got no experience in that locker room, but NFL reporters are saying texts from people around the league using the words like mockery, insanity, and chaos to talk about what's happening in Indianapolis.
If they had promoted John Fox, what would we be saying? Why? Just another retread.
Right.
So you can't, I mean, no one's ever going to be happy.
Yeah.
No one's ever going to be happy. And nobody, man, you don't want these interim jobs, man. I know people think, well, it's experience. No. You don't want these interim jobs. These interim jobs, they use these as examples as why not to hire you.
Maybe Jeff Saturday doesn't get a head coaching opportunity like this in any offseason. Got to start somewhere. And now Dan Orlovsky has said that there's a possibility he could join. Just bring the whole ESPN crew in.
Man, Ryan Clark, coach of DBs.
This is like a Barry Melrose effect, right? We watched Barry Melrose for years do hockey, and we're like, why isn't that guy coaching? Why isn't Mike Mayock running a team?
Yeah.
He's the draft expert. So let's just get Ryan Clark and Marcus Spears and Dan Orlovsky to join Jeff Saturday.
They cut another one of Mayock's players. Jonathan Abram got cut.
Fourth first rounder.
That got cut.
Fourth first rounder since 2019.
I mean, that's all of them. It's all of them that have got. And then Josh Jacobs didn't get renewed.
So we got the exclusive audio of Irsay making this hire. Just to let you get a refresher for Irsay's voice and what it sounds like, here is the Colts owner at the presser talking about Jeff Saturday.
The numbers don't lie, as we always say in the locker room. You are who you are. You are what your record is. I am very excited to have Jeff here and next to me as the interim head coach. Just couldn't be more thrilled about having him here. And yes, he is fully experienced enough. Yes, he is fully capable. He's extremely competitive. He understands the game.
Saturday is the first NFL head coach with no college or pro coaching experience since Norm Van Brocklin went from 1960 NFL MVP with the Eagles to coach of the Vikings in 1961. NFL MVP to Vikings head coach in the very next year. So that's Irsay publicly. We got the private back and forth on how the crazy Colts owner came to this decision with his phone call with GM for now, Chris Ballard.
As the current and emphasis on current GM, do you have any ideas?
Mr. Irsay, we got Gus Bradley on staff.
Nah.
John Fox has a pedigree in this league.
Nah.
Well, look, Bubba Ventrone, we feel highly...
No! What do I always do when I have questions that need to be answered?
Carl Payton?
Besides that, I listen to music, okay? I listen to music. The music gives me answers.
Look, Mr. Irsay, don't you think...
We're 3-5-1 with no quarterback, no offensive line, no coach. This wasn't a suggestion.
Oh my God.
Mr. Irsay.
I got a big weed stash, pocket full of cash, just seen a big old ass.
I didn't know you had Luda in you. Don't do it. Mr. Irsay, don't.
I think I got it.
Mr. Irsay.
Can you give me Jeff Saturday on the phone? Followed by Peyton Manning. but definitely Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, why not?
So there's a comedian, Joey Molinaro, letting us know how Irsay came to the decision. Man, he's got his voice down.
It makes perfect sense. it makes perfect sense.
Irsay's a big music guy.
He is. He probably carry. And I wondered, is he paying Jeff with a briefcase full of cash?
Right? From his back seat.
From his back seat of his car.
From the back seat of his car. So there you go with what's going on with the Colts decision. How about Ryan Clark and Kyle Brandt beefing? Kyle Brandt's on the NFL Network, and Ryan Clark, of course, is on ESPN. I thought Kyle Brandt brought up an incredibly relevant question. I don't know if he should be bringing it on his network. Who on ESPN was going to call out the hire? Who on ESPN was going to cite the Rooney Rule? Who on ESPN was going to talk about...
there is no Rooney Rule here. There's no Rooney Rule on an interim coach. And that's like it or not, that's the reality. There's no Rooney Rule in the interim coach.
Well, people are still bringing up, hey, it's just automatically going to a white guy. Legitimate or not, that's been something that's being brought up. But
real quick.
Yeah.
Like, Jim Irsay has hired as many or more black coaches in his tenure than, like, anybody in history. He went back to Dungy and Jim Caldwell back to back.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really play that card with Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay is a lunatic, and he's a lot of things.
Yeah.
But not hiring somebody based on race is not one of them.
And was ESPN going to be credible and balanced and objective in discussing this story? The very fair and obvious point to bring up that it could be a ridiculous, laughable hire that Jeff Saturday has no experience and you're just throwing him onto a sideline, and Ryan Clark was not happy with that, telling Kyle Brandt, stick to your own network. We're good over here. So they're going back and forth on social media.
Oh.
Ryan Clark and Kyle Brandt, NFL Network versus ESPN.
All right. I love when networks fight. I love when people fight between networks. Chaos in somebody else's house is a great thing.
And then Orlovsky was like tweeting about plagiarism yesterday. Like, hey, dear other people, come up with your own ideas and at least give credit. And I was like, Dan, you work at the place that steals from everybody. Love you personally, bro. But hey, awareness. Look in a mirror. Did they give you guys credit yesterday for your Jerry stuff? Did you see it anywhere?
I didn't notice them play any of the clips during our show. And as soon as I got home, I was watching mostly election stuff. So I didn't see any. I didn't see them play it during the show yesterday.
877
because you weren't here.
877 yeah. I'm the missing link to get my name misspelled on TV to get us put on there. 877-881-1053. Truckwreck.com text line 877-881-1053. But this just made the Indianapolis Colts watchable. They're one of my unwatchable teams in the National Football League. And now all the intrigue and the interest, and he just named an offensive coordinator last night. Saturday.
Parks Frazier is going to be the... What a name. What the hell kind of name is that?
Parks Frazier.
Parks Frazier is the new OC, the play caller. I don't know who names their kid Parks.
Is there one person in DFW that wants this Ben Simmons to the Mavs rumor to actually happen? Next.
Let's get you over to BlueChew.com, boys and girls. You need...
Club. This is the Hump Day edition of Sean and RJ back together again. Sean Sharif, RJ Choppy, Peyton, and Ryan running things in the back. Interesting timing for the release of this rumor from Sean Devaney from Heavy.com.
Ooh,
now,
Heavy.com.
I think he used to work for Sporting News. I recognize his name, and a few days ago, he tweeted that the Dallas Mavericks, or someone tweeted that he said the Dallas Mavericks are a team to keep an eye on for the services of Ben Simmons, who just made his return after being out for 4 games with a left knee issue against the Mavericks in that Mavs W the other day at the AAC. Can you find one person on the truckwreck.com text line? Because I couldn't on Twitter, social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, could not find one that was down for this. I originally suggested Ben Simmons, Porzingis back in the day. That would have been a major, major mistake. Because to me, this guy is totally, completely fried and done. I want no parts of it. None.
I would consider this.
Okay.
I like talent. I like pedigree. The number 1 pick, right?
He was.
I like that. And I also think you got to get this mentally fragile dude out of the East Coast. You got to get him somewhere where they don't care. No offense. We don't care. We don't care how you act. We don't care who you are.
And
we don't even care about... I mean, look. 1% of town watches this team play. We don't care. Come here. You can live anonymously. There's no national media here. There's no attention here. Brad Townsend isn't going to write an article telling you how much you suck. Okay? Doesn't happen here. Yep. It happens in the New York Post. The harshest thing you're going to get is Tim McMahon. And, you know, like in the grand scheme of things, he ain't tough. He ain't Philadelphia tough. So you come here, you may get a different player.
Simmons is averaging 6, 7, and 6. 44% from the free throw line.
Wow.
From the free throw line, this guy is shooting 44%.
Oh, man.
It's always fun to just go look at his stats.
Well, I mean, fun is relative.
Not if you're a fan of the Nets, it's not fun. But he's obviously making big-time money, right? And what do the Mavericks need? Because I agree with Tim McMahon, who was recently on with the Get Right. This roster has problems, and the most fascinating storyline in town is not whether Odell Beckham could help the Dallas Cowboys. To me, it's still what is going on with Christian Wood, the Christian Wood mystery. And McMahon was on, and he said, look, it's not that hard. They view him as a bench scorer. That's it. They don't trust him. Jason Kidd doesn't trust him to close games, even though clearly, he is their second most talented player. It appears as if the Jason Kidd Milwaukee mind games are finally being exercised on a player here. And he's going with the tear down versus the build up of Christian Wood.
No doubt. Maybe that's the reason not to get Ben Simmons, because Jason Kidd would tear him down.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. Here.
That Tolos would want him?
I'm just going to read here. Dawson wants this trade. Hard pass. I'll take him. Hell yeah, we need scoring. I don't know that's what Ben does.
He's averaging 5 points this year.
I'm down with Ben. Do it. He's young. Give me Ben Simmons. No other talent is coming here. Mavs a good safe spot for players. Bring him to Dallas. Good fit for Luka. Do the deal.
Wow.
Keep him away from...
Would be another ball handler, which we need.
Keep him away from my team, my city, my state. Absolutely not. My name is Ben, and I can't sign off on this. Can he dunk and play defense? Then yes, we do care. Ben is done. He's not worth the headlines. Choppy doesn't know ball. Ben Simmons is ass and will fold in every playoff game he plays. He's too soft for the pressure in May and June.
That would be a problem in the playoffs, no doubt.
Yeah, he will.
Look at the numbers. He averages 15.5 for his career averages are 15, 8, and 7. This guy's only been in the league for 5 years. 6. Last year, he skipped. It's gone from 15.5 to 5.5. The percentages, RJ, 56% career shooter from the field to 43. Has he attempted a 3 this year? His 3-point percentage is still at 0. His free throw percentage has gone from 61 to 46. The shooting percentages are plummeting. He'll get you 6 boards and 6 assists a game.
I mean, he has his issues. There's no doubt about that. I just think getting him out of the East Coast, not for him.
I agree. I totally agree.
He needs to go to a place where there is no pressure. And, no matter, there is no pressure.
He's
here.
0 for 1 from 3 this year.
Yeah, there is no pressure here. This is one of the easiest places for an athlete to play.
I agree. Except on the Cowboys.
I mean, still, the media, even the Cowboy media is soft.
Shots fired. John Machota. But nationally, it's every day.
Nationally, it's every day.
Yeah. Like McCarthy's clearly annoyed with the circus around here, or he was.
But there's no criticism like there is. Like
we're not tough on these players. Sean and RJ.
Yeah, no, right? Like the New York media is harder, much harder on the Yankees than even all the coverage is. There's more scrutiny playing for that team than this one. This team just gets talked about. They don't get ripped. Like that team gets ripped. There's a difference between getting talked about and getting ripped.
Meanwhile, Jaylen Brown and the Players Association, they don't sound too satisfied with all the requirements that the Nets put on Kyrie Irving to come back and play basketball. There's a long list.
It's a long list. It's a long list of Kyrie Irving.
Man, did he get put in his place.
Yeah. So,
apologize.
He's required, before he can return, to condemn an anti-Semitic film that he promoted on his Twitter account, which I would disagree with the wording of that. He did not promote it.
Which I believe he did promote it. By the way, it's not the most disturbing thing. One of the disturbing things out of this, I was listening to CJ McCollum talk about it. He's part of the union, president. He's the president of the Players Association, I believe. He said Kyrie never watched the film. What an idiot. What a freaking idiot. To sit there, run your mouth. If that's true.
That someone just told you about it?
If that's true, you didn't watch it. You didn't read the book. And you put your name alongside of that. You're an idiot. You're not as smart as I gave him credit for. CJ McCollum said that. The Kyrie's sitting here talking about something that he did not watch. Dumbass.
Condemn the film. Meet with owner Joe Tsai. Still waiting for him to condemn Muslim genocide in China.
Who?
Joe Tsai. Still waiting for that one.
What's that story?
Well, he's just, he's talking about Kyrie doing this. He is very close-knit with the Chinese government, and he has never once condemned the genocide of the Muslim Uyghur population in China.
Oh.
All right, so he can miss me with all of his criticism of Kyrie Irving. Meet with Jewish leaders in Brooklyn, as well as the Anti-Defamation League. Complete a sensitivity training course. Go through anti-Semitic training and donate $500,000 to anti-hate organizations. Kyrie will complete none of these.
Who plays more games for the Nets the rest of the year? Kyrie Irving or Ben Simmons? Does Kyrie Irving play another game?
I think he will. I think he won't do any of this, and I think he'll still play.
Oh, you think they'll let him back on the court?
I think the Players Association will file the grievance, and they will find a way to get him back on the court. I don't believe Kyrie will miss more than the however many games his initial suspension's for. But I did like the story that you posted that he just blew off Steve Nash all the time. 10 play calls in a game. He's like, nah, we're good here, Steve.
Remember, he said we have like 8 different head coaches.
We have 8 head coaches, and I think the play is a different play. So, don't need you, man.
Blew him off.
Kyrie
Irving. There you go. What a beautiful mess. You got a mess there. You got a mess in L.A. 2-8, and some reports leaked out. Anthony Davis could be on the block. You flirt around this if you're the Mavericks.
Yes. Yes, you do. You flirt around. You get.
I don't know what you can give up, but.
What's it take? I mean, he's like the Jake DeGrom of the NBA. He plays like 11 games a year. Get him in. Maybe those 11 games are in the postseason. You never know.
Like, who blows it up first? The Nets and the Lakers, they both have to blow it up. They have to.
They do, man. They got to blow it up. They have got to blow it up.
And how about this? LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, all on teams that have to blow it up. Say that out loud.
I know.
While the Utah Jazz are sitting here balling.
Utah Jazz are efforting their way to 40 wins. That's what they're doing. They're gonna give max effort on the way to 40, which they ain't gonna have. That doesn't happen very often.
All right, let me finish up. Peyton just said check the DMs. Here we go. Kevin Gray. Should the Mavericks make this trade for Anthony Davis? Lakers get Christian Wood, Dinwiddie. You listen to this, Chubby?
Mm-hmm.
Christian Wood, Dinwiddie, Bullock, unprotected first-round picks in 25, 27, and 29. He's got some first-round swaps in there for Anthony Davis.
That's a lot.
That
God,
is
that's
a lot.
ton.
Christian Wood, Dinwiddie, Bullock, unprotected first in 25, 27, and 29. My answer is no. Anthony Davis is soft. Anthony Davis is the big man version. Not as bad, but he's this guy. I don't know how much he truly cares. I don't know how much it bugs him that he's called street clothes. They're trying to. I mean, he should be taking the keys in LA, but man, this is going to continue with him for the rest of his career. I'm not giving up all that. I think Bassick made the case before I went out for a few days. Talent-wise, how big's the gap between Anthony Davis and Christian Wood? But if you look at Christian Wood, what?
Talent-wise?
Yeah, talent-wise.
Talent-wise, it's the Grand Canyon.
I don't think so.
Talent-wise, the difference between Anthony Davis and Christian Wood is the difference between Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson.
I don't think so. I think Christian Wood can do anything offensively. Defensively, it's not close, though. Defensively, it's not even a discussion. Christian Wood can shoot the three. He's not as good in the post, I don't believe. But all this other stuff thrown in to make up for it for a guy.
Oh,
would you do this deal?
Well, look.
Christian Wood, Dinwiddie, Bullock, and unprotected first for 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I could find you a Christian Wood. I could find you a Dinwiddie. I could find you a Bullock.
I agree with...
I could find you one.
The Christian Wood talent in the package. But right now, it's looking like Christian Wood is not going to get signed here.
He didn't play. He ain't going to get signed. He didn't play anyway.
True. He doesn't play anyway.
I mean, at least Anthony Davis will be on the floor at the end of games.
This attractive if you're the Lakers? Wood, Dinwiddie, Bullock, I think that's attractive if you're the Lakers. Get some picks. Christian Wood is the talent. Dinwiddie and Bullock. I think that's interesting. These are some of the suggestions out there from Bleacher Report. It was Bill Simmons who heard that Anthony Davis could be available, and they should do it. They should just blow that thing up. The Nets were listed, the Bulls, the Knicks, and your Dallas Mavericks. Interesting. Very interesting. Truckwreck.com text line. Let us know what y'all think about the possibility. 877-881-1053. Truckwreck.com text line to hit us up on the show. Stars lose. Mavs are playing at 4:30 today.
I don't get it.
We continue to get you updated and ready for Cowboys, Packers, and Fort Worth in the top 4 of the college football playoff rankings. Headlines on a hump day.
Hump day.
With Sean and RJ next.
Well, let's get you over to the all.
Sean and RJ on 105.3 The Fan.
Good morning, Metroplex. It's time for Hump Day Headlines.
Hump Day.
Here on Sean and RJ, the entire squad is back together again. It's time to get you caught up for your Wednesday in DFW or wherever you may be listening on the Odyssey app. Micah Parsons and Odell Beckham Jr. flirting with each other on social media yesterday. Micah, come on, Odell, talk to me. And Odell's like, hey, man, I'm here. I got family over there. I just want to win. And then you had people chiming in, come on, come to Kansas City. We got the better barbecue. You would 100% win with Mahomes, Kelsey, and Andy Reid. Odell responding with, it ain't out of the question. So Odell Beckham is soaking up all the attention.
Yes, he is. And that's what he wants. And that's what the Cowboys want. That's what Jerry wants. Jerry wants the attention to be on this team. He has always wanted the attention to be on this team. He wants the attention to be on this team more than he wants a Super Bowl trophy to be on this team, it seems like.
Very talkative with you guys yesterday, answering all these questions.
Yeah, he was, and we appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
But, no, in all seriousness, I mean, if he wants to really improve this football team, here's the thing. Will Odell Beckham make this team worse?
No.
Okay, so check that box off.
Okay.
Will he make this team better? I think this year there's a question because of his injury and how effective he'll be coming back. At the very least, he makes them the same. He doesn't make you worse. And you're prorating his salary. I mean, next year he'll be better. I would make the move.
He's 30. You down for a 30-year-old receiver coming off an ACL when you have Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb?
You need a third still. Here's the thing. He's, 18 months older than Amari Cooper. And we want Amari. Now.
Yeah, well, I wanted Amari for this season.
This season.
I'm not having Odell for this season.
No.
What am I getting this year?
You're going to get an inconsistent player this year because the injury is going to render him very inconsistent in the first couple of games. And you're only going to get him for a handful of games anyway. That's just the reality of it. Even though people come back from ACLs all the time, and they do, that first year back, it's not always the smoothest transition to return.
He wants a final landing spot. He said he's tired of living out of a suitcase. And he felt disrespected by the Rams' offer. So you're going to have to sign up for something that doesn't seem very Catboy-like with Stephen Jones. Even though Jerry said he'd write the biggest check possible, Jerry's saying a star on his helmet would look pretty good. That was the quote that all the TV shows are playing from your interview yesterday. Vegas has us as the favorite, followed by Buffalo, and then the New York Giants. So that's where things stand with the Odell Beckham watch. Truckwreck.com text line seems pretty supportive at 877-881-1053. And Jay Glazer saying big news for Odell, rehabbing going so well, he is expected to be fully cleared in the next week.
Oh, yeah. And here we go. People are some, Choppy, come on, you're comparing Amari to Odell. Amari is so much better right now. It's not even a comparison.
I agree he's better.
Yeah, he is better. No one's saying he's not better. I shouldn't even say that. Last year, Odell was better than Amari was for the Rams. That's not really, we're not really arguing that one. I mean, he was a difference maker for LA last year.
I got to go look at his numbers. I think the Super Bowl and a couple plays here and there may have boosted what we think. A lot of this is his name, too. Star power. Right? Like, we need someone on Twitter to put up, like, the stats of Odell in the last 2 years and say, one is Odell Beckham and the other person is blank. He had 27 catches last year.
Yeah, but he didn't play the whole year for them.
Yeah. He played in 8 games.
He had 537 yards in 8 games. Amari had 800.
Odell last year, okay, are you counting the playoffs?
No.
He had 305 in the regular season.
Oh, no, you're just talking the Rams thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for the entire year, he had
537.
44 catches with Cleveland and the Rams. 500 yards. Played in 14 games.
Yeah, and with Cleveland, I mean, they were talking about him not even getting the football. Like, he wasn't even being thrown to. He was with the Rams in 8 games. He was pretty impactful, and in the postseason he was very good, which is huge. I mean, like that's basically why they got him. I think Amari's better, but I don't think it's a crazy thing to say, hey, we want to replace him and bring him in here.
I think the biggest factor in this, and I think we should write this down for McCarthy Friday. Maybe we'll catch him off guard. Dr. Cooper, the most important person in this whole discussion? That's the question. It's Dr. Cooper. Can you get Odell's medicals? Being a free agent? What is he hearing? He's the one with the sign-off. He is the X factor, in my opinion. Dr. Cooper, as Jerry Jones yesterday also brought up the tight ends for some reason. Throwing to the tight ends could impact what the Cowboys do. Or are they just selling us on this again? Corey brought this up on KMC when I was listening. We're just programmed now to treat this like Mavs free agency. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever. Meanwhile, the Cowboys are 5-point favorites at Lambeau Field. Bobby Belt will be making that trip. I heard him this morning driving in talking about buying a ticket. That's a cool sports move. We got the media credential. He would buy a ticket just to sit in the bleachers there.
Didn't you go there?
I did go.
Yeah.
I did go.
So people at text were saying yesterday that, Bobby, don't do it. It's the worst game experience because the seats are so cramped. The seats are terrible. Is that true?
Well, they're bleachers.
Oh, it's like a college game.
It's like you don't have backs to the seats.
It's like going to a college game. Yeah. Oh, those are fun.
Over-under for this game is 43, and the Cowboys right now are favored by 5 over a team that has been ravaged by injury. Green Bay is just banged up. Aaron Rodgers was asked on the Pat McAfee show about Mike McCarthy's return to Lambeau.
Hey, what about this week? You have Dallas coming to town, Big Mike McCarthy. I don't know if you saw his presser. They were starting to ask him about Green Bay, and he got a little emotional. I thought it was awesome to see. And Dan Quinn's defense there in Dallas loves to take the ball away. Have you watched much Dallas yet? And have you planned or thought about, when you get to see Coach Mike, like what it's going to be like?
I'm going to give him a big old hug. I can tell you that much. I'm excited to see Mike. Shared some messages the past couple weeks, and I know it means a lot to him to come back. I really do hope the reception for him is as warm as it needs to be. He's got a street named after him. Obviously, he won a Super Bowl together, but he meant a lot to the town for 13 years. A big part of our success. Obviously, being the head boss, he'll be in the Packer Hall of Fame at some point as well. And I think it's important that we honor him the right way.
So that's Aaron Rodgers talking about McCarthy.
I have a feeling that those two aren't going to hug. Did you see Mike get all choked up, man? That was good to hear. That was really good to hear. I don't believe Rodgers for a second.
Oh, I think they're going to do the half bro hug,
the side hug. What the girl gives you when she doesn't really like you. That tells you, this is not my kind of dude.
College football playoff rankings out last night. RJ Choppy's Tennessee Volunteers, of course, taking the fall to number 5 from number 1. And Sonny Dykes, friend of the show, and the TCU Horned Frogs go from 7 to 4. Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, TCU 4, before going to Austin to take on the Longhorns.
Yeah, and there was the discussion was going to be, who was going to be 3, 4, and 5, and what order were they going to be in. That was the discussion going into last night. And then this is fine. Like TCU is in a good position. They went out, they're in. And they're just like last week. Georgia was an 8-point favorite to a team ranked ahead of them, and Texas is a 7-point favorite over TCU to a team ranked ahead of them. And if TCU wins this game, and the committee loves themselves some Texas, this would only boost their resume.
Sonny Dykes got the ESPN treatment on with Scott Van Pelt. Are y'all feeling some more respect in the world of college football this week?
Kind of similar to the way we felt last week. I mean, look, this is early in the process. I have a lot of faith in the committee that they're going to recognize teams that continue to win. We haven't always won pretty. There's been some struggles. We've had to make some second half comebacks. But at the end of the day, we've played a good schedule. I think the Big 12 is as good a conference as there is right now in the country, top to bottom. I really do. There's no layups in this league. You better play well every week. And so far, our guys have managed to do that. Now, look, we've got a really tough schedule ahead of us. We go to Texas this week and go to Baylor the following week. And so we'll learn a lot more about our football team. But again, I appreciate the fact that they value wins, and our guys have been able to do that so far.
Should the Big 12 champ, RJ, have to be undefeated to make the playoff?
It depends. I think it depends. I think it's going to have to be. The committee is fickle. They don't care about losses as much as they care about wins. They'll dock you less for losses than they'll boost you for wins. So you can have a one loss and you can make it. You could be a conference champ and you can make it. You could be a conference champ and you can miss out. One of the conference champs is going to miss out. If Clemson, Oregon, and TCU are all one-loss conference champs, one of them is going to get left out by default.
Sonny Dykes was asked that same question, having to be undefeated in the Big 12.
I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I think that there's some analytics and some ways to look at our conference, and I think when people sit down and look at our numbers, they measure very well compared to other conferences. Again, just the fact that we have 10 very, very solid football teams. Also, we play a 9-game schedule where we're going to play every single team in our league. And there's no scheduling opportunities. And in other words, we're not going to catch a good schedule one year because you're going to play everybody. And so, you do get a true conference champion. You get an idea of who the best team is going to be. And again, this league from top to bottom is incredibly solid. We were the 7th or 8th pick preseason in our league. Kansas was I think the consensus number 10 pick, and they've got an outstanding football team. And so, there's no layups in the Big 12, that's for sure.
Well, I think if you're going to lose a game, you'd rather lose it week 2, week 3 of the season because you can rebuild that resume.
Look at Oregon.
Right. I mean, they lose the first game of the season, they went out, and now, they're up at the top.
Oregon lost 49-3 to Georgia, and they're knocking on the door.
The 3-game winning streak of the Dallas Stars was snapped by the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets' best start in franchise history. They beat the Stars 5-1. They scored 3 goals in 2 minutes and 45 seconds with the explosion. 4 overall goals in the second period as the Stars lose. And then the Mavs and the Orlando Magic have been moved to 4:30 today, our time.
So this game was not originally scheduled to start at 5 o'clock, 5:30 Eastern time.
It was not.
Okay. All right, good. Storms? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
Bad weather, like hurricane?
One of the Tolos said there's a hurricane heading to Florida, so they're going to make sure for travel purposes. That is from Tolo Todd Montgomery, as the Mavs are going to try to extend the winning streak. Luka, who already leads the league averaging, is this right? He's averaging 36 a game? No.
I think he's having a good year.
He's looking to extend his 30-plus point scoring streak to 10 games. They're going to be without Christian Wood, who suffered a knee sprain.
I mean, they're without him anyway.
In Monday's win over the Nets. So they're the Mavs trying to get their 5th straight W. Headlines on a hump day. With Sean and RJ back together again. Let's get to some mid-season awards. So Wednesday, with the Cowboys sitting here at 6-2, let's get to some mid-season awards. Whatever category you want for America's team, give us the category and your pick at 877-881-1053. Inside the Star with Cowboys mid-season awards next on The Fan. But, man, Trajan Wealth.
Injury lawyers Frankel and Frankel. There's a reason you need a special license to drive a big truck. So companies that hire drivers and put them in a big truck should be held accountable for what happens when one hurts you. Frankly, you need Frankel and Frankel. Visit truckwreck.com or call them 214-333-3333.
Where are the Dallas Cowboys in this week's NFL Power Rankings? We'll do them at 8 o'clock. The playmaker, Michael Irvin, is going to join us at 8:40 this morning. Nick Eatman, Final Hour, DallasCowboys.com. It is Sean Sharif and RJ Choppy back together again. Glad you're joining us for the Expressway. We are, from here on out, commercial-free till the end of the hour. I want to do some mid-season Cowboy awards. I heard your question to Jerry Jones. RJ always trying to create headlines with his interviews. Are you guys more equipped to win the championship at 6-2 this year compared to last year? Of course, Jerry did not want to touch that. But let's come up with your Cowboy categories. Whatever you want to come up with, and give us the answer at 877-881-1053. I wanted to start with a grade. And my grade for this football team through technically the midway, I guess, I don't know what's technical about it. 17 games, 6-2. A- as a team. Or I could just go with a flat A. Just an A, not an A+, but I'm going with an A.
Oh, I'm grading on the curve here. That curve is Dak Prescott. That's an A+, man. I if you had told me when they went down after week 1 that they were going to be 6-2, that's an A+ for me. All day.
Who is the first half MVP?
Oh, it's Micah.
Micah.
It's Micah. I don't know how you could say it's not. I mean, he is lined up everywhere. He has done everything. He's been, he's been the best defensive player in the NFL or one of them. So it's been Micah.
Who's having the second best season on this team? Tolos?
The second best?
Yeah. Who's having the second best year on the 6-2 Cowboys squad? Does PFF have overall team grades up to this point?
I'd go Trayvon Diggs. I think he's had a pretty good season compared to last season.
Yeah, without speaking to judging the linemen, right? I think Diggs would be
He is having a better year than last year. And I know that's hard for a lot of people to fathom that he had 11 interceptions last year and he's better this year. He's much better this year. He's not getting beat as much in coverage. That's an interesting thing. Let me go look and see who PFF would have as the second highest grade player of this team.
Biggest surprise and disappointment so far. Biggest surprise and disappointment. I mean, obviously you have to start, I think, with the bottom not falling out with Cooper Rush at quarterback. That's the biggest surprise. And my second biggest surprise, the offensive line not falling apart when Tyron Smith got hurt. I know you're not surprised by that. I had a 3-game difference in my win-loss record. Same with Bobby Belt. We both got that wrong. But that was my second biggest surprise because of history. History showed this was a house of cards. When 77 went down, everything crumbled. And he's been a totally forgotten person around here. Totally forgotten.
Yeah.
When's the last time you thought of Tyron Smith with the Cowboys? And, I mean, are you even that excited to get him back with the way things have gone? Those have been my top 2 surprises. Obviously, Cooper Rush has to be up there.
Real quick, the top 2 graded players on PFF for this team, Mike at 90.9 and Pollard at 90.1. Biggest surprise for me.
Doesn't have to be a player. Can be an event, anything.
Well, have it being 6-2 with Cooper Rush quarterback in most of those games.
Yep.
That's been a pretty big surprise.
Shocking. Not pretty big. It's a stunner.
And I gotta say, you bring up surprises, you gotta also bring up disappointments.
Yeah.
I'm not really disappointed with anyone.
I have a hard time coming up with a disappointment as well. Maybe Anthony Brown? Maybe Brian Bross will probably tell you that.
Well,
I know you're an Anthony Brown over Diggs guy.
Anthony's fine. Anthony's exactly what you wanted at a number 2 corner. He's got a high floor and a low ceiling. He doesn't do anything great, but he also doesn't really do anything bad. He's fine.
Are you disappointed in the combined productivity of the weapons with Lamb, Gallup, and Schultz? But you got to factor injuries in. It's hard to.
Gallup is what we're going to see from Odell if he gets here. There's an inconsistency at the start of a season. I'm not disappointed by anybody. I'll be honest. I am not disappointed. Maybe how they use certain guys. Maybe you want to see them use Tony Pollard more. Maybe you want to see them use Turpin more. So maybe that's the disappointment, but I can't say I'm disappointed by the play of any one player.
Here's Mike Martz with TMZ. They asked him about this offensive genius. He was labeled that at one point in time in his career. They asked Mike Martz about the Zeke versus Pollard debate.
Well, that's always been the case. You can't just have one running back. It just, unless they're these big, powerful guys that just don't get worn down, but they do get worn down. They're smaller guys. They're all not real big. Ezekiel's lost some weight, gotten his speed back. But, for me, I think Pollard has been more productive in the last 3 years, when the opportunities that he's had. So he's a deep ball guy inside. He can go the distance at any time. Not so sure that's the case with Ezekiel. I think he's probably the changeup. But I think the owner, they're into him for a lot of money. And in Dallas, normally that stuff shouldn't ever come into it. But in Dallas, I think it probably does. So Ezekiel will be the leadoff guy, I'm sure.
Ooh, did you hear that last part? In a lot of places, the money doesn't factor in. But I think in Dallas, it does. That's very unfortunate to hear Mike Martz say that. He went on to say, look, Start Zeke and then get Pollard the majority of the carries. That's the way he would handle it if he was running the Cowboys offense. So that was Mike Martz. Other categories?
Real quick, people coming on the Trek.com text line on the disappointment. The run defense has been disappointing, they said.
I think that's the only Achilles heel on this football team.
Brian Anger.
Okay.
Has been disappointing. People are calling Jalen Tolbert has been disappointing. CD hasn't been what we thought. You can call it a disappointment if you want to.
All fair.
Man, I don't know. I don't have a problem with CD's season.
Well, it's hard to judge him without his quarterback. That's what I was trying to tell Broadus and Bobby. Like, I'm not totally judging the passing game. Unless you're DeAndre Hopkins, like, you need a good quarterback throwing you the rock. This guy had Cooper Rush for 5 games. Regular season so far, 42 catches, 556 and 3. So he's on pace for 1,000 yards and over 80 catches.
Yeah.
It's a good year.
PFF has him as the 14th highest graded wide receiver in the NFL.
We just haven't had the emergence of being a star. No one thinks that CeeDee Lamb, when he was drafted, with that reaction we all remember, we thought we were getting a star, and no one feels like that's happening at this current rate. You know what I mean?
What were his numbers again?
42, 556, and 3.
Okay.
He's like dead on. Every year, this guy is the same exact numbers. 75 to 80 catches, 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 13 a catch. That's like his first 3 seasons automatic.
So I would ask the folks that are saying CD, do they think Amari Cooper's having a really good year in Cleveland? And I think a lot of people would say yes.
Yep.
CD, 42 for 556 and 3. Amari, 39 for 553 and 5. It's the same year. And neither one of them has their quarterback.
Right.
Like, if Amari Cooper's having a great year, so is CeeDee Lamb.
877-881-1053, truckwreck.com text line.
Some more most improved. How about that one?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Noah Brown. Especially the start of his year. Before Michael Gallup came back to play, Noah Brown was almost a savior.
You have Terrence Steele on there?
I do not have Terrence Steele on here.
I still feel like Tyler Smith is not talked about at all for this team. I know his PFF grade hasn't been like totally outstanding. I could nominate Diggs for most improved based upon the numbers last year.
He is improved. There's no doubt about that.
But Noah Brown, man, he's come up big in big moments. He was there for Cooper Rush in this offense.
Yes, he absolutely was.
Been a dream season after the beginning. Absolute dream. Proof. Here's one of my categories. Proof that maybe they know what they're talking about. The offseason. We all whiffed. The entire city whiffed on the offseason. The Brad Shams of the world went out. Let's just wait and see. We all had them taking steps backwards, making fun of them being a running team, saying that the defense should lead. You lose Randy Gregory, you lose Lael Collins, you lose Amari Cooper, and the front office, maybe they're football people for a reason, because we all missed thinking it would be a definite step backwards. And we were wrong. Happy to be wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. Offensive MVP. I think it's Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard is the offensive MVP. I don't know. Has he gotten enough touches to be that? Let me give you his game logs.
He's gone almost playless in some games.
Tony Pollard, 6 for 8 in the opener against Tampa, then 9 for 43 and a touch, 13 for 105 against the Giants, then 8 for 6, 8 for 86, 11 for 44, 12 for 83, and then the explosion, 14 for 131 against the Bears. Without looking at offensive line grades, I think he's definitely the offensive MVP. Is it Cooper Rush?
Make a case. You can absolutely make a case.
Cooper Rush didn't lose games. He didn't lose these games.
He did not lose these games. I mean, honestly, you're going to struggle to find somebody on offense other than maybe
Zach Martin, biggest disappointment? PFF got a grade on him?
They do have grades on him. Yeah, they do. Let me find it real quick.
All right, here's what Todd Archer did as ESPN went to all their beat reporters for the midseason reports.
He's a 70. Graded as the 16th best guard out of 81. So that is a little bit of a disappointment from Zach standards. But are we going to call him a disappointment, or is he getting old?
What we know, according to ESPN, the Cowboys have a chance to be the NFC rep in the Super Bowl. They have a dominant defense that can affect the quarterback and take the ball away. They can run the ball effectively. They have a more than solid special teams unit. The players are in place for the Cowboys to make it to at least a conference title game for the first time since '95. Can they clear whatever mental hurdle has clamped down on this franchise since the mid-'90s? What we don't know yet, according to Todd Archer, can the offense consistently put up points? They cleared 25 points just once in the first 8 games. And if you want to give the reason as backup quarterback, that's fine. Dak, Lamb, Gallup, Schultz, and whoever else will have to consistently show they can get it done in the passing game. The 42 points scored on offense against Chicago was a positive, but it can't just be a one-off. Circle this upcoming game, December 24th against Filthy. Since their loss to the Eagles in October, the players have been talking about the rematch. They feel like they let a chance slip away at Lincoln Financial because of a slow start and 3 picks. Dak did not play. It could be for the NFC East title and potentially home field advantage, but even if it's not, a win would give the Cowboys a huge boost heading into the postseason. That is the midseason report from ESPN.com.
Okay. Look, I'll tell you another category I got real quick. Is the rookie of the year, no doubt, Sam Williams?
I think there's a doubt. Like, Sam Williams didn't even play in the last game. I'd have to go. I can go and get the odds for the rookies of the year. What are
Oh no, I'm saying this team's rookie of the year.
Oh, this team's rookie of the year.
No. The rookie of the year is going to be Sauce or whatever, right?
Sauce Gardner's numbers are looking like Revis Island in New York.
Yeah. No. He's going to win the rookie of the year, and there may be somebody else, but
who's another candidate here? Tyler or Sam? Like,
Tyler's got.
You're much more reliant on Tyler Smith than Sam Williams, right?
1,000%.
Sam Williams' best game came in 12 snaps.
Yes, it did.
Tyler Smith's out there every single game protecting Dak's blind side.
Oh, for sure. He's doing a nice job of it.
Like, in terms of the numbers, the flash stats, it could be Sam Williams, but overall, snap to snap importance, hard to go away from Tyler Smith. I have defensive rookie of the year throughout the league. Sam Williams is not in the top 15.
I will say this. PFF says since week 5, he's top 10 in the NFL in quarterback pressure percentage.
Wow.
At 21.4%. So is Dante Fowler at 20%. And Micah and Tank are not. Which means the Cowboys have got, because Mike and Tank are eventually going to do, they're going to do their thing. That means they've got 4 exceptional edge rushers right now.
Let's touch on the rest of the division real quick, just to get a feel on what's happening in the NFC East. Eagles 8-0. What we know, they have the NFL's best record, first time in franchise history. They're 8-0, largely due to the MVP play of Hurts, who's won 11 straight starts. 18 total touchdowns, just 2 interceptions. They're taking care of business both sides of the ball. They've won the turnover battle in all 8 games. NFL best plus 15 differential this season. First team to do it since 1972 Pittsburgh. What we don't know yet, just how long this run will last. They're projected to be favored in every game remaining on their schedule, with the exception of Christmas Eve at the Cowboys. Difficult to identify holes on either side of the ball. Key injury to watch, Jordan Davis, the rookie D tackle, on injured reserve with a high ankle sprain. The Eagles defense needs to stabilize against the run. Dameon Pierce from the armpit went off for 139 on 27 carries. Coming into the game, they allowed 4 yards a carry. Maybe that could be a Dallas Cowboys formula. I guess we'll do the Giants since they're 6-2. What we know, they're vastly improved from the past 5 years when they were tied for the worst record in football. Start with the coaching and the leadership. Brian Daboll looks like the real deal. Joe Shane? I think it's
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane has done a masterful job with a flawed roster with little money under the cap. What we don't know, still to be determined, how they handle Daniel Jones and Saquon's contracts. Both are impending franchise free agents. Shane has the franchise tag at his disposal. Does he use it on either one? So there we go with some midseason reports around the NFL. And we're not going to do the Commanders, but there was a little story that Matthew McConaughey could be interested
All right.
in joining. I didn't know McConaughey was a Washington fan.
So what's for being Mr. Texas?
Did you know that?
Good luck running for governor.
He's a Commanders fan, right? And Bezos would be out and McConaughey possibly in with Jay-Z because Dan Snyder hates what?
Will never sell to the Washington Post. And Jeffrey Bezos owns the Washington Post, Amazon. And the Washington Post is what broke that story, the Commanders' scandal story. And he's got it out for them. So he will never sell to them. Although we all know money talks. And if they somehow find that Dan Snyder would get $2 billion more by selling to Bezos, maybe he will. Or maybe he'll put in there that, hey, in order to buy this team, you've got to sell the Washington Post. The NFL, the other owners, they kind of decide who he sells to, in a way, right? They've got to approve. They've got to approve the new hire, the new owner. So maybe that plays into it.
Don Van Natta from ESPN the other day said he's run out of options. He's got no friends left. There's no financial rescue package coming. Why Dan Snyder's selling finally feels inevitable, and how federal prosecutors Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z are now involved. So that's the latest with what's going on there. Gavin Spittle chiming in. If we're talking punters, he's going to check in. He said Anger is 5.5 yards from the leader in punt average in the league, 13th overall.
Hey, you gave him all that money, right? He should be number one. He was tops in the league last year, right? He
had a Pro Bowl season.
He had a Pro Bowl season, and
I need to check if he made All-Pro. Peyton, check if Brian Anger made All-Pro, please. 877-881-1053. So I just wanted to do a little Cowboys mid-season talk in the middle of the week on a hump day. But I also want to find out how you have done in cutting the cord.
Oh, man.
You finally did it.
I did it.
We've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah. So I had found that my TV kept cutting out. Like my cable box. First of all,
how old's your TV? Is it the TV age?
Brand new.
Okay,
brand new.
Not good.
Bought it. Not even a year ago. And I haven't been able in about a year to watch my TV on my phone. And I kept saying, "What the hell's going on?" So I called them. I had AT&T Uverse, and they said, "Well, we're kind of doing away with Uverse. You're like grandfathered in. Like we don't really offer it anymore. So we basically stopped worrying about the app."
Right. That's what they did for me and the internet. AT&T has been a fine sponsor
of
the morning show and the station. So they're like, we need you. We need to give you this free fiber. We need you to make the switch over because they're not going to work on these old boxes anymore that I turn in. So I'm like, okay, you're going to lower my bill and give me fiber speed? Fine.
Right. So I call up and I'm like, all right. So then I had an issue like where my TV kept cutting out. And the box would just reset itself, and it would take like 15 minutes. And it was always in the most important part of every sporting event. And I was like, oh, for God's sakes. So when I went into the store, I was like, okay, guys, let me just get this DirecTV stream because it's also part of AT&T. It's easy to just switch over. So I got the stream, and my bill went from, I was paying like almost $200 a month just for cable. Now I'm paying like $79. And I've got.
And what are you using to watch?
DirecTV Stream. Now it doesn't. I don't have NFL Network. I don't think it's offered on the stream or on my package. I only have like I cut my number of channels down. I went from 300 channels to maybe 100. But
what channel are you missing the most? Did you sacrifice one that you noticed?
Smithsonian Channel. All those they have the show called Air Disasters where they just talk about every plane crash in history. I miss that thing so much, man. I don't have HBO anymore. I don't have Showtime anymore.
Oh,
got rid of all those. I don't know. I haven't had to because the games have been on network TV.
Amazon.
Right. No, I'm talking about I don't know if I have Valley yet. I can't find it.
Oh.
I have it on my DirecTV stream.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go look for it then. I'm sure I have it.
Yeah, DirecTV, I've never had issues with Bally.
Okay.
So I hope that the stream, for your sake and our sake, give you the games.
Well, I mean, the good thing is that,
Here we go.
By the time that they play a meaningful game, they'll be on TNT in April. So that's a plus. And I go to so many Stars games anyway.
That's right.
I don't need to watch them on TV.
So it's been it's been a good transition.
I love it. I love it so far. It doesn't cut out. There's no issues. So far so good with the DirecTV stream.
Brian Anger, what?
Second team All-Pro.
I mean, over second team All-Pro to 13th. That's a disappointment.
All right, so that's RJ cutting the cord. 877-881-1053, truckwork.com. Text line here on DFW Sports Station. Thanks for being a Tolo. That stands for Turn It On, Leave It On. Bobby Belt texting that he doesn't talk that fast. As I was asking you how it was with Corey and Bobby. And then I was trying to do some homework on the digs that were taken, the shots that were fired at me. Peyton, I would like you to tell me the top 2 or 3 insults that were thrown my way while I was out.
So I'd go number 1, the hands.
Okay.
Bobby had to bring up the hands.
That's fine.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
And then the how you transition into like each segment, like stands for turn it on, leave it on. He had to change the voice. He did point for audio. He said, I'll do that just like Sean does.
Okay.
So that was probably the 3. I don't know if the last one was a disrespect, but just doing what you do.
Okay. All right. So that's Bobby. And Choppy, what did he say?
Oh, Choppy was great. He talked great things about you.
Oh, okay.
Well, see,
he missed you. He really did.
I did.
Yeah, right.
I did.
Yeah.
I did miss you.
Yeah. So difference between Corey and Bobby?
Bobby talks fast.
Oh. And much more?
Much more. And
did he bring you breakfast?
He did. He brought the whole station breakfast.
Jack in the Box, I believe.
Yeah, I know, right? He brought the whole station breakfast. So no, Bobby talks fast. You could joke with him. I like that. He's funny.
And Corey? You joke with Corey?
You could joke with Corey too. I enjoy doing the show with Corey. It would, so there's a couple of people that, when if you're going to be out, that, you can easily do the show with and seamlessly move in. And Corey and Bobby are 2 of those people.
All right. Aaron Judge, Rangers. You guys had Sandler on yesterday?
They did, yeah, because free agency, it's alive and kicking, man. And all these people are signing. All the signings in Major League Baseball happening right now.
What are the big signings?
None. Absolutely none. Nobody is signed. They're going to wait this thing out. We may get somebody signed by Christmas.
When did it start?
I think
Thursday.
It was the day after the World Series, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's a free agent the day after the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
But now...
I see tomorrow.
Right. Tomorrow is... So right now...
I'm like, why'd you have Jared on? That was the Packers preview?
Yes. Right now is the exclusive negotiating window. So the Rangers would have that window with Martin Perez, and they've got time, and the Yankees would have it with Aaron Judge, and the Mets would have it with Jake DeGrom, and they have until that day, I think, to extend the qualifying offer, which is like $20 million, and it comes with a tag of of a first round pick or whatever, comp pick, second round comp pick. Now I think they've changed it to a second round pick. So tomorrow, if, say, the Mets don't come to a deal with Jake DeGrom, or the Yankees don't come to a deal with Aaron Judge, or the Rangers don't come to one with Martin Perez, they're free to negotiate with anybody.
Where do things stand with Judge?
It's down to 3 teams, really, in Vegas. Giants, Dodgers, Yankees. And, I mean, the Yankees are the prohibitive favorites, but I don't think you can discount. He wants $36 million a year, and I don't think you can discount home. Home for him is the, I don't say home is the Bay Area. He's from Fresno. but that's, he grew up a Giants fan. I don't think you can discount that. Like, the Yankee fans, if they lose him, it is their fault. They're going to blame Cashman, but it is 100% their fault. They booed him in the postseason. And there are reports.
What a bunch of morons.
That the players were so pissed at the fans for how they treated them in the ALCS that nobody wants to be there anymore. And they have nobody. And the fans are taking their frustrations of the ownership group and Brian Cashman out on the players. The players are like, guys, screw you. Screw you guys.
All right, it's Sean and RJ here on DFW Sports Station 105.3 The Fan. One more technology discussion to have with you. You caved into the cell phone. The 10-year-old got a cell phone?
The
10-year-old long discussion and topic of when your kid gets the cell phone and social media.
Yeah. So we were going to get him I was going to get him an iPad. Right, get him because he wanted to be on this. He was the only kid that wasn't on the group chat in school. He was the last one in his grade not to have a cell phone, which I was totally unfavorable.
Good job.
And he was not on the group chat, and he was just in a bad mood all the time. So we're like, all right, we're gonna get you an iPad. You could be on that. And so he was upset about that. Well, his mom said to me, "Look, Luca my oldest got a cell phone at the end of 4th grade. My youngest, Julian, is in 4th grade. She's like, why waste money on an iPad just to get him a cell phone in 6 months? Just get him the cell phone now." And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. He doesn't deserve a cell phone. But, she went and got him one.
Oh, it's her.
She got him the cell phone. Okay. It's on my plan.
Oh, of course.
But she paid for the phone.
Okay.
She paid for the phone. And I said I would take care of the iPad plan. And it winds up being the same amount of money because big news in life. Sarah's on my plan now.
What?
We joined cell phone plans, baby.
It's official.
It's official.
When are you going to get the same name on the Facebook account?
Stop it.
RJ and Sarah. You know those couples? RJ and
I know those
Sarah
couples.
on the same. I saw you make her wear your college football gear.
I know.
Already did that.
Oh, man, that was so good.
When does the profile pic change on Twitter? Will it ever be the two of you?
I don't know that you could share cell phone plan. This topic made a great exit. I don't know you can share cell phone plans if you don't live together. That's interesting. I think that the move-in would happen, then the cell phone join.
She needed to. It wound up working because it was like it was like $10 a month to add her to my plan. And instead of her paying $100 a month, it was like it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
And then so my kids are like $10 a month.
So
now.
you can go through her records. This is really a controlled power play by you. You can see it. You can see all the activity.
I guess I could.
Yeah. You know if you can.
If
or not,
I was
based on past relationships.
I know. If I was a psycho, I could do that, but
okay.
I don't care.
Okay.
So anyway, it was only like $10.
But when's the moving gonna happen?
I don't know. She's got a lease until the end of summer.
The end of summer.
So I'm assuming
that's a ways.
I'm assuming August.
Okay.
I'm assuming August it will happen.
Okay.
But so like I said, it was easy to move him onto my plan, and now he's got a cell phone.
Early returns? Is he just obsessed? Can't get his head out of it?
No, he doesn't take it to school. He says he doesn't want to lose it. I can't use it in school anyway.
Wow.
So he leaves it at home. He is only allowed like 90 minutes a day on it, and he plays outside.
You can monitor can you control?
So it's linked to her iCloud or whatever the hell you guys have with Apple. And so she can see everything that he does.
Why'd you get him an Apple product? You denounce Apple.
I have a MacBook computer.
Oh, okay.
I don't denounce Apple.
You denounce Apple phones.
I think that they are wildly overrated, and I hate their keyboard.
Okay.
The keypad I can't stand.
So now you can't have the regular chat with your son because you have a non-Apple.
Yeah, I'm a green bubble guy. Proud green bubble guy.
What does Luca have?
He's got an iPhone. Luca's a little bit ticked. He's a little ticked.
Because he doesn't have the new phone?
Because Julian's got the 13. I didn't give him the new phone. He has the 13. And Luca's got the 12.
God.
And
first world problems.
First world problems, man. I tried to get him an 11. Julian an 11. Or a 12. I'm like, we don't sell 11s anymore. You can't get that.
877-881-1053, truckwreck.com text line. The playmaker, Michael Irvin, will join us at 840. Will he have even more Odell news to bring us like he did last time when that blew up nationally? Where are the Cowboys in this week's power rankings? I've had them up there. They made me look good. What is the rest of the country saying, and where are the Cowboys in your 1 through 5? 877-881-1053. NFL Power Rankings on Sean and RJ next.
Well, let's get you over to number one there, an official partner of the Dallas Cowboys this month only.
biggest football game in the history of Western civilization. What a ride it's been.
Power. Ranking. It's time for this week's NFL Power Rankings here on Sean and RJ. This is your home of America's team. This is your home of the playmaker Michael Irvin, who will join us at 8:40 this morning, as he always does, as an Odyssey NFL insider. And, of course, Insider Calls brought to you by Driveway.com. Car buying delivered on your terms and on your turf. And we may have to get a Jimmy Johnson question from Michael for Jimmy joining us tomorrow. Jimmy Johnson joining the morning show to talk about Jerry, the Cowboys, and his new book, Swagger.
Man, there's a lot to ask. There's a lot to ask the Jimster tomorrow. That's going to be an exciting interview. We've never had him on.
Never
had him on. I think I did something with him back when I was with Michael years ago, but never here.
7:20 tomorrow morning, thanks to Bobby Belt and the bosses for making it work. Bobby did a lot of homework in terms of getting this done behind the scenes. So Jimmy Johnson tomorrow at 7:20 here on your home of the Dallas Cowboys. What is the rest of the country saying about this squad in terms of their power rankings? And what are yours 1 through 5? At 877-881-1053, 877-881-1053. This team is 6-2. They've been surging. Let's see if they get the respect. Blogging the Boys compiles all these. They kept them at 4. They were at 4. They're still at 4. NFL.com kept them at 4. ESPN bumped them from 4 to 5. USA Today and Yahoo kept them at 4. CBS Sports kept them at 5. The Athletic kept them at 4. Sports Illustrated from 6 to 4. Consistently been the dumbest rankings of all throughout the year. The Athletic kind of disrespected them, I think, earlier on. But overall, they're ranked 4 throughout the country, as Micah Parsons and Odell Beckham are flirting with each other on social media about teaming up with the star on the side of the helmet, as Jerry told this show yesterday. I think the intrigue today is, what are we going to do with Kansas City and Buffalo? Many Tolos, what's up with y'all's Bills now? They lost to the Jets. Josh Allen, arm concerns. Are you judging the team playing today, and are you taking Josh Allen into account? And then Kansas City with a tight game against Tennessee that they ultimately won, even though they could have lost that game. So what are you going to do with KC and Buffalo at the top? Should we go 1 through 5 or 5 through 1?
I think either way. Either way works. I think 1 through 5 makes for more suspense. Let's do 1 through 5.
I think 5 through 1.
Oh, really?
Let's go 5.
Okay.
Let's start off with number 5.
Okay. I had this team in my top 5 last week. I have them in my top 5 this week. But last week they were at 4. The Dallas Cowboys.
You're bumping them?
Yep.
Why?
Because they didn't win.
Because they didn't play. They didn't win.
Get punished? You
get fired on your off day.
You get fired on the off day? You get replaced? You get demoted while you're hurt? I don't like this.
All right, I'll say this. I suspect they will not lose a game the rest of the way. This will be the number 1 seed in the NFC when it's all said and done.
What?
The only game I can even remotely see them losing is Minnesota in 2 weeks.
15-2?
15-2.
You're on crack.
They will be the one. I'm saying right now. They will be the 1 seed in the NFC.
You are saying they will overcome Philadelphia?
Yes. They will beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia will lose another game, and the Cowboys will have the tiebreaker.
Wow. Hot take. Write it on the board.
They will not lose another game.
So then how do you have them at 5?
Well, because I do think currently, my team at number 4 has earned the right to be ahead of them.
Okay.
All right.
Peyton, who's your number? I love the hot take. 15-2. They will beat the Eagles in the East and not lose a game the rest of the way from RJ Chape. Peyton, who's your 5?
So my 5 is the same as last week, the Minnesota Vikings. I thought they played a not great game against the Commanders, but it is on the road. They snuck one out there against Washington, so I have the 7-1 Vikings at number 5.
Yeah, that game showed me what I thought about Minnesota. I'm reluctantly, putting them in consideration, but I'm like, they could have lost that. The Commanders stink. I have a brand new team in the top 5 that we have not considered or talked about. I think it's time to give them their just due. My number 5 team is the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
Hot take. Look, man, the Seahawks, I've been waiting for them to fall off, but I think they're more real than the Giants. They beat the Giants, they swept the Cardinals, and they handled the Chargers to win 4 straight and 4 out of 5. I consider Baltimore, by the way, they're about to go on a run. Listen to this schedule.
Baltimore? Oh, yeah.
Listen to this. Carolina, this is in order. Carolina, Jacksonville, Denver, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Before finishing with Cincy. 7 cakewalks for the Baltimore Ravens. They're about to go on a run, but I'm going to give respect to the Seattle Seahawks. They are my number 5 team.
Okay. Did not see that one coming.
Did not.
My number 4 team, and this is the reason why I jumped them, because I had them at 5.
And I'd be interested in the analytical numbers on Seattle, Football Outsiders and all that stuff.
I'll get them right now.
Let's see if this is fluky, but go ahead.
All right, so my number 4 team, and I put them here because of their overall resume, not the record, but their overall resume. They have led by 10 points in every game this year. How many times have we said that I don't need the final score to tell me who the better team is? When you lead every game by the way, everybody in the history of the NFL that has led every game through 8 weeks of the season by 10 points or more has only had 1 loss at that point. This team has 3. They got very unlucky against Miami, and they got very unlucky against the Giants. And this is a 7 or 8-1 football team. I've got Baltimore here. And I like their formula. So our formula is we have the 10th best offense and the top ranked defense. Well, they have the 3rd best offense and the 15th ranked defense. Offense is more stable. Our offense, I suspect, will be much better. That's skewed because of Cooper Rush. So this will be eventually, that's why, the Cowboys eventually, I believe, are going to go 15-2 and be the 1 seed in the NFC. But Baltimore's earned it. They have absolutely earned it, and I have them there for it.
My number 4 team, they didn't win last week. They didn't lose last week. It is the Dallas Cowboys. So my 5 and 4 have stayed the exact same.
Who did I give you a hard time for last week?
I had Philadelphia at 2.
Okay, Philadelphia 2. So you got the Cowboys at 4?
Yes.
I have the Cowboys at 4 as well. I've had them up here the longest of anyone on the morning show in the top 5. They've proven me correct. No reason to take them out. Number 3, power rankings around the NFL. 877-881-1053. Truckwreck.com. Text line to hit us up on the show.
All right. Real quick, I'll give you a couple people coming in here real quick. Eagles 1, Chiefs 2, Bills, Vikings, Cowboys. KC, Buffalo, Tampa, Philly, Baltimore, 49ers, Cowboys. Wow.
How y'all going to pick the Vikings over the Cowboys?
The correct answer is KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, Philly, Dallas.
Buffalo, a little shaky ground. I don't know. That could be a tease.
Check Choppy's drink. They've got wins against Detroit and Chicago and the usual suspects to think this is the best team in the NFC. RJ's lost it. The Cowboys lose to the Vikings, Giants, Titans, and Eagles. Man, y'all crazy. Crazy. Number 3. I got Philadelphia. They won't be here for long because they lose to the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. And, the Cowboys will eventually jump them. And they will lose along the way.
Which team has the better quarterback? Why do you think that the Eagles will finish in second to us?
Oh, man, this has got one of those years feeling like, it's got one of those, this is our year kind of things that I'm starting to feel. I'm starting to buy in. I'm starting to buy into that, man. You start winning games with Cooper Rush, and it's like, dude, something's different. Something's different. Philadelphia's great. They're the most complete team. Who has the better quarterback? Well, this year it's clearly Hurts. He's clearly having a better year than Dak is. But I think Dak's ceiling's much higher. So I guess my answer is, I'll take the easy way. I'll say it's Hurts right now. But I do think at the end of the year, Dak will have a typical Dak kind of season.
All right, so number 3 is Philly for you.
Yes.
Peyton.
I dropped Buffalo from 1 to 3. Another loss, another divisional loss. I mean, this might be a team that they might be a number 1 seed, but they're going to have a losing record against their own division. 0-2 in their division so far. I haven't factored in the Josh Allen injury yet because it's not official yet.
Right.
But they played sloppy. They blew a 14-3 lead against the Jets, played like crap, and they deserve to be dropped.
Do you think the Allen thing could be serious?
Yeah. I think we might not see him till November of next year.
What?
If it's a Tommy John. Right? If it's a Tommy John, he'll be out for a year. I mean, it won't be November. He'll be out for the start. But you know what I mean? Like, if it's that, I think it's definitely serious. I'm fascinated to see what happens with him. Because if that thing continues and it's that ligament, you might not see him for a while.
I also dropped Buffalo from 1 to 3.
Man.
The Buffalo Bills coming in at number 3. Look, you had that lead against the Jets. How much can we really punish you for it? This might be an overreaction to drop them out of the top 2. It's been KC, Buffalo, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I have the Bills coming in at number 3, and I'll just ruin the drama. No, I'll keep the drama because some people have a new number 1 throughout the NFL. Go ahead. Who's your 2?
My number 2 is Buffalo. They've got 2 more losses to Philadelphia. I know that, but on a neutral field, they would be favored over them. I dropped them from 1 because I don't know about Josh Allen's arm right now. I don't know. I don't know what it's like. So that obviously means that I have Kansas City at number 1. They've got the MVP, the guy who should be the MVP, Patrick Mahomes. They're putting up 2 more points per game this year than they did last year without Tyreek Hill. That is impressive.
Yes, very impressive. And Odell tweeting that KC is not out of the running, that it could be a possibility.
And that right there, not with Odell, with Tyreek Hill, that is why you pay your quarterback $45 million. Because his job is to find the next Tyreek Hill. And he's doing it by committee, really.
Peyton.
So I have Kansas City at number 2. Last week they were 3. They moved up to number 2. I think you know where this is going. And, man, they're lucky they beat the Titans. They came back and won that game. They were down. They were playing like crap against Malik Willis. They almost lost to Malik Willis at home. And I would have dropped Kansas City probably number 5 if they lost that game last week.
So the Eagles are your number 1.
Eagles number 1. I had them 2 last week. They moved up. They keep winning.
Philly is my 2. Kansas City is my number 1.
Good.
So just a reset for Sean Sharif Power Rankings 1 through 5. Kansas City, Philly, Buffalo, Dallas, and my stunner is the Seattle Seahawks.
Let's see. Truckwreck.com text line. If you give love to Seattle, what about the Jets? You could compare Allen's injury to Drew Brees' early in his career. Juju's fit in KC is so underrated. Let's see. They said Allen avoided major injury. Hurts' ceiling is higher. Pass plus rush equals higher ceiling. No love for the Finns.
Look at the AFC. Yeah, Miami.
I thought about Miami. I thought hard about Miami here.
I like Miami. I could have them at number 5 very easily. Only division of football. Every single team is over 500. The AFC's.
Is the AFC East the best division?
And look, we are getting ready to eliminate New England.
I know.
And there's Belichick, those middle 4 games. I guess it would be a middle quarter. Second quarter. Yeah, the middle 8 games of their season. That's when he adjusts. They all say.
He uses the first 4 games. They don't panic. In his first 4 games, like an extended preseason. And then they're over 500. I mean, they're a solid team. They're not a great team. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be right there.
They're dangerous. I want no part of them if I'm in the AFC. None.
In the playoffs?
Yes. None.
Okay.
No part.
Okay.
Dude.
All right, I like it.
Their 2 receivers can go for $150 apiece any game. And I heard you talking about 2 of the top-rated PFF quarterback.
Oh, Miami. I thought you were talking about New England.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're AFC East.
Yeah. Oh, no, I agree. I don't want any part of them. I mean.
Oh, yeah. Give me all the Patriots.
Yeah. And you saw what happened with them the other day, where the Colts were calling out their plays.
Shaq Leonard.
Yes. Calling out their plays,
and they
man.
still lost.
And they still lost, but they still gave up 26.
All right, reset your final 5.
KC, Buffalo, Philly, Baltimore, Cowboys.
Philly 1, Kansas City 2, Buffalo 3, Dallas 4, Minnesota 5.
But the big statement, I don't see a loss the rest of the way. The Cowboys will go 15-2.
Book it.
And they will win the NFC East. That out of the mouth of Ralph James Choppy. Sean and RJ here. Back together again on DFW Sports Station. Thanks for being a Tolo. That stands for Turn It On, Leave It On. Fort Worth is the story for us of the college football world, and then the playmaker Michael Irvin next. But yesterday, how about the story? I could hear it in the background.